It definitely looks like we're in the midst of that decline as expected. I was expecting this high. The high came in at 12:30. I was expecting it more around 1:30, so I was a little bit late on that. But you can see how this high is being directed right towards 12:30. Um, with that said, in this last hour, we should see some notable price swings. We've fulfilled the low. That doesn't mean that we don't go lower, but my sense is probably that we fulfilled the low already, and we see price swings here. There's a support level right around the close that's highlighted on and it'll be important on a multi-day scale. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I wonder if it's this. I mean, it could be this right here, but I have a feeling it's probably this. Um, it could be. We could be at the support right now, 452.21 ish, or we could go lower to like roughly 451.08. But pretty price swingy here. We've already tapped the RSI twice here. That doesn't mean we won't see it again, but we're definitely coming to like the lower end of the RSI, which indicates oversold on a 1 day chart, 1 minute chart, anyways. And so it looks like we were pretty on point as far as where we opened. We opened higher in the pre-market, and then we sold. Right, and there was a key resistance highlighted in the pre-market. We declined pretty notably off of it, and then there was a move from the bottom of a range all the way to the top of a range, as indicated by the orange correlation to the strength card, which is out of a decline, a big move from the bottom of a range all the way to the top of a range, and that indicated a trade opportunity there. There was that back and forth behavior, and we came back to pretty much the same price level for another high here. And that was the up down up behavior that I was talking about, where around the open we would have a high low high. Well, matter of factly, this is the second. So this is the second peak right here, the second high correlation. A big move, and this is the abundance kind of move where you break through resistance briefly, which it would have been this resistance roughly right around 454.44. Stay above it briefly, and then you break back down there. Um, and that was a pretty notable move to the downside into a low. But remember, we should see price swings here in the last hour. And then out of oversold territory in the post market, or maybe overnight, there's a notable move to the upside. My sense is that it might even make sense, matter of factly, to close that short position on Monday. Let me see. Closing the short position on the 21st, closing the short position on Monday. If you got good profit on a short position, it might even make sense to take it there. You know, a bird in hand is worth two in the bush. Hey, Sanska Jonah, welcome. Let me take a look at Bitcoin. Hmm. I would still expect a reversal tomorrow, and a peak and like a prominent peak that'll stand out. There may also be somebody speaking tomorrow or some sort of speaker about midday. It's possible that's highlighted and somehow impacts Bitcoin. But so it's like a reversal. Right now, what we're probably seeing is still the continuation of the satiety energy, which is a decline through multiple supports off of a peak or crest. And we had the peak here. It looks like right on the cusp of the 19th, 20th, or the beginning of the 20th here. And then we're seeing this sell off here. So there should be a reversal, and then out of a decline after the reversal and a crest here on the 21st. We should decline off of the crest, and then out of the crest, there's a move from the bottom of a range to the top of a range, and then it gets kind of volatile around the 23rd, 24th. Um, and I'm not seeing this as a high. The 13th just does not. It does not look like nothing here indicating to me a high, which would say that we're going to see a higher price level. Like I said, if I'm wrong on the lowest lows, which it looks like maybe I am still wrong there. It is. These are lowest lows on the 20th. We may end up actually, and it's possible that we end up in a lowest low here around the 25th, 26th in that case. It's possible, but there's been so much sideways movement that we could see a lowest low here and still fulfill a highest high after the fact, because it's just been pretty much sideways behavior for the month, which is why it's been so difficult to really pinpoint where the highs and lows are. There's so many peaks and crests within close proximity to each other that the energies kind of overlap. They get kind of stacked on top of each other, and then from like a linear perspective, it becomes difficult to determine what precedes what. That's why we're going to discontinue the monthly golds. They're just not enough volatility. We're going to cover the gold readings on a monthly basis from a 1 year standpoint chart, and we'll probably do that with a few other monthlies that we're currently covering. But I wouldn't be overly like I wouldn't be scared that we're going much deeper than this based on the cards. It looks like a lot of sidewaysy behavior, and then out of the low, there's a notable move to the upside. So be mindful of that out of the low, a notable move to the upside. Hey, Conrad. Oh, guys, before I remember, so this not to call out Primal Cipher, but I just want Primal, I want you to be aware. I noticed something. YouTube is automatically removing your posts, your comments. That is not me removing your comments. I have no idea why they're getting removed because they're not offensive or anything. So you might want to message YouTube about that. Your comments are like automatically getting removed when you leave them. I see them in like my alerts, but then when I go to the actual video, they're gone. And I just want you to be aware that's not anybody here intentionally doing that. That's an automated thing by YouTube. Hey, Conrad. So appreciate it, Conrad. Do we see more decline tomorrow? I think so. But it's choppy, right? Like we may even decline into the 21st. It's possible, but I think to hold the short position until the 21st is a little risky. Um, So, this is actually where we're at right now. If you made a good gain on a short position, you're just hopping on. I mentioned earlier, if you made a good gain on a short position, a bird in hand is worth two in the bush. I'd probably take the profit at these lows here because we're going to get into price swingy behavior, and then out of these lows, there should off of a support like we're establishing support that can be relied upon right here, and off after that support around the close that's highlighted at the lows, there's a big move to the upside. So that'll either take place in the post market or it'll take place overnight. And I see in the pre-market tomorrow a notable move to the upside that offers an opportunity to open up a short position. There'll be a pretty big move to the downside there. Um, but it's the prudence card, so that's why I'm saying if you've got a pretty good profit in a short position, I'd probably take it like now before we see a bigger move, like a big move to the upside. Better to take the gains than risk losing them. It's always good to take a good gain. Um, and then you could position yourself tomorrow in the midst of this move higher in a short position, which I think you should be able to close midday. It's going to be very sidewaysy though, so it's like a tricky day. I try to avoid trading around the prudence card when possible. It's the most difficult card to read in my opinion. So to answer your question concisely, sorry, Conrad. I think it's pretty mixed, but yes, overall, I think we probably see more decline there. Midday off of a trough, there should be a pretty big move to the upside around 1 o'clock, starting maybe a little bit before 1 o'clock. It's going to be kind of like a whipsaw in here, probably. And this may end up being a trough here. It's interesting. I'm getting that read. The speaker tomorrow. It may be something more impactful than just on Bitcoin because I'm seeing a cross reading kind of correspondence here with this. There's a speaker here tomorrow, and whatever they're speaking about should not be trusted, and somehow impacts the market. Oh, hey, Av. Yeah, so that's what we're discussing right now. Is tomorrow a lower day? I think it's probably a lower day, but it's going to be a mixed day overall. And it's quite possible that the Knight of Swords is a pretty difficult card to indicate, like to determine relative open tomorrow. My sense is that we probably gap down, and there's like a big move out of the low in the morning. This stone right here is giving me a little cause for like caution as far as how low we go because this could be indicating a peak here. It's a powerful anchor for energy, but it's not like it's thrown me off a few times in the past, so I'm kind of iffy about how far down we go. It's going to be overall pretty mixed, but I think this is probably the support here that I'm thinking right around this price level, 451.20-ish, maybe a little higher, but this is basically the support that I expect we can rely upon at least for today, and there should be a move to the upside, and then that's where it gets tricky because we've got this big move to the upside. We're going lower. Wow, we're going lower. Okay, I think there's probably a pretty strong indication of us opening lower tomorrow. I mean, you could probably hold your short and make more money tomorrow, but again, the cautious trader would probably take profits on a nice chunk of profit on a short position because remember, they call it short for a reason. My biggest mistake was shorting, in historically speaking, has been like, oh, there's going to be more, and I wait too long and miss the profit. That's usually how you fail a short. When you're right and fail, it's usually because you waited too long. It's called short for a reason. You know, it's not to say that tomorrow won't be lower. It very likely will be. So it's a matter of your risk tolerance. You know, but I wouldn't say this is going to be a straight drop here. This is still going to be kind of a price swingy thing here. We'll likely come close to this RSI again. We'll probably hit this 20 RSI again. Do we hit 20 RSI again? Gave me a maybe. We go lower than 20 RSI again. I got lower than 20 RSI. Interesting. I think we probably open notably lower tomorrow, and the reason why is the Magus energy here at the beginning of the day, the labradorite stone. But if I'm wrong and we open higher, we're still going to see a lower price level here midday, is my sense, in the midst of like some whipsaw action. And this could even right here around 10:15ish could even be a low. It's possible. It's a little far away from the timeline to be definitive. You're welcome. So what I'm trying to determine here is on the 24th because the Princess of Discs is a notable trade opportunity on a multi-day scale. Sometimes it's a bottom. It's not. I don't think it's a low in this case. Like I said, we're going to see a prominent shelf that stands out here on the 21st. Might go into the 24th. Next week's pretty mixed. Let's take a closer look at Monday. I want to take a closer look at Monday here. See, we even have this cross-reading congruency. The Princess of Discs is the sneak preview card here. Oof, it's a tough call, guys, whether we open higher or lower on Monday. Hey, Robert, if I didn't say hey. Do I think we go higher out of the open, or does the Ten of Swords ruin cause us to go down lower through support levels? So I think in the pre-market we go higher, and then we probably decline into into the open with some bullish energy out of the open. Maybe not bullish, but like pumping along resistance at least out of the open. Um, Overall, I think we go like we're going to go higher and then lower, but the lower is going to be deeper than the higher is high, if that makes sense. So overall, we'll go to the downside at least into like midday. Some pretty tricky. This is why we have prudence here. I think uh, some pretty tricky back and forth behavior going on here between noon and about 3 o'clock. There's a pretty big move to the upside around 3 o'clock after we revisit a support level that was an opportunity. So I would say get into a short position in the midst of a rally here in the pre-market. And probably close that short position midday in the midst of a sideways fluctuating decline. But it's going to get tricky there. It really is. It's going to get tricky there at midday. So this is a tricky day to be trading. I just want to point that out. And you want to trade around a notable move to the upside, standing out on a 1-day chart after establishing support, which really looks like is that 3 o'clock move, which will be in the middle of a decline. Like there'll be a decline to support, big move higher, and then a decline into the close probably. No update on the book just yet. That's kind of it's on the back burner until we've really stabilized. We need about uh we need about $2,000 more in subscription customers per month, and then we can start looking at side things like an updated book. But for now, it's like everything's focused on building this base until we're stabilized, because we're definitely not stabilized yet, guys. We're definitely relying heavily on people's continued support. Will UPST go to 65.70 by next Friday? All right, so there's that pullback. Well, UPST rise to $65 by next Friday? I got a yes. Let me double check on that. It might be a maybe. It's a maybe. Interesting. So does it go higher? Does it go to 75? Does UPST go to $75 by next Friday? I got 75. Pretty big move. But we're definitely getting kind of... Wait, we already met, right? We already met 61. And that gap is at 75. So it would make sense if we go to if we rise, we're already rose into the gap, so it would make sense that we probably fill this gap. And often when you fill a gap, there's a notable move there. So it could very likely be that we hit that 75 mark, and that would make sense based on the gap being right around 77. And on a scale like a year to date kind of scale, we're up in the upper end of overbought territory. But usually, like when you see this type of behavior, you'll see us kind of like hang out in overbought, like a really bullish, really strong rally. We'll hang out in overbought territory for a bit. We'll get into like the gray area above 90 before you really see a decline in a lot of cases. What will QQQ's overall trend direction be for tomorrow? A sideways fluctuating decline that precedes a rally. August 2nd calls, ADI. Oof, that's a brutal move. All right, let's take a look. Best day to exit. Yikes. It's looking pretty bearish next week. Yeah, it's looking really bearish next week. I'd probably just take the loss and get out of that one, Carolyn. Not much time left till August 2nd, really, from the standpoint of out of the money expiration options or near term expiration options. You're welcome, AV. Oh, card flew out. Interesting. It was the pleasure card, which is erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level, also appears as the volume card. I think we probably open higher Monday, is my sense, and then decline after like this bit of a move there. And we might see that pop to the upside here. It's possible. We're at that support, as I mentioned. Off of the low, a rally along a diagonal trend line, breaking through horizontal resistance to meet a second resistance before pulling back to somewhere between those two price levels. on coin call expiring July 28th. When's the best time to exit that trade? Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Let me do this over on Shuffle better. Best time to exit those calls. So probably on Monday, it looks like, Carolyn. Either tomorrow, if there's a notable move to the upside, or on Monday. Um, like Tuesday and Wednesday look bullish as well, but you're getting really close to expiration. You know, it depends on if you're out of the money, you're in the money, whether or not you would want to hold it a couple of days longer. But I got the full for Monday. I got the Magus card for tomorrow. Those are both kind of auspicious as far as trade opportunities. A multi-day SPY call options would be a good idea starting tomorrow and having an expiration out 1 to 2 weeks. Let's see. I'm not sure if the August reading came out yet. I'm pretty sure it comes out tomorrow if it hasn't come out already. Oh, this is Bitcoin, sorry. The if you're on the free newsletter, if you've signed up for the free newsletter on our website Tarot for Traders, then you got the August reading emailed directly to your email like probably 2 weeks ago. August monthly. And if you've got early access, then you probably had access to it on the first of the month. Early access, you get early access on our website Tarot for Traders here under our services, SO Meta Posts. Oops. Right here at the top, early access to our posts. Click here to subscribe, 29 bucks a month. Everything that comes out on YouTube comes out earlier on our website, and it's a good way to support the channel. With that said, let's take a look and see here. Yeah, tomorrow is probably right around midday is probably a good place to open up a long position, or possibly here when we revisit a support level. We'll probably go from a high to a low to a high to a low sort of behavior here. Or you could wait. I'd probably open it at this Empress card midday. Oh, look at that. Sneaky, sneaky little guy I totally missed. Yeah, so that Empress card's pretty important. We came pretty close to that RSI. We were at like what? We just tapped it. Like literally just tapped it. Can barely see it. I would say opening up a long position there midday is probably a good idea. And you could close that the following day, or you could close that. Oops. On the 26th. I don't know if I would wait until the 31st. I think the high's probably the 26th, not the 31st. We'll see. It's kind of somewhere there over those few days. Hey, Mirdula Mishra. Oh, is IWM bullish for tomorrow? Oh, we did that. We did IWM. Will XRP reach $5 in 2023? Let me take a look. This was like a really difficult reading to do, this XRP reading. There was so much going on. So I need to be mindful of that, but let's take a look. It's a nice pop. That is a nice pop. So you want to be careful here. The July high is a failed attempt. It looks like we're going to break through key resistance. Instead, we turn around and we decline through key support. And there's a pretty notable decline here in August. Sometimes this stone ends up being a highest high. More often it's a lowest low, but it doesn't look like that's the case there. Although we do have the Ace of Cups, which indicates lowest lows pretty often, not all the time. And there's a pretty big move, improbable move off of the low off of the high in August. Unicursal decline towards the end of September. I think it's probably pretty unlikely that we hit $5 in 2023. Oh, yikes, Carolyn. Google calls when to close. You should close today. Should you exit out of your SHIB position by August 1st? Let's take a look at SHIB. So this is a good example of a unicursal energy, guys, just to give you an idea. So we had a highest high at the end of January, really ended up being at the very beginning of February, but that's pretty much on point. And then a sharp drop off of it, that's unicursal energy. And then at the end of February, another sharp drop into March. Those are the unicursal drops. That's what you usually see with unicursal. And then we had another one. It looks like it came a little bit earlier. Um, Interesting. I'm gonna take a look at the July real quick. I had some real difficulty with these June, July readings. I feel much more back to my normal self doing these September, the August, and especially these September ones. I feel much better about. Right, so very sidewaysy overall behavior for the month, and you can see very sidewaysy kind of overall behavior for the month. Um, Let me duplicate this. '19th. That's the sideways fluctuating rally that precedes a decline. So that low we were picking up on the first second actually ended up being on the 30th. And then the fourth, fifth, there was another one into the sixth, seventh, another one. Another trough on the 13th, pretty close to a lowest low there. I would say around the 23rd, 24th is probably a good spot to exit, like on the cusp. Um, and that would be like after we make a peak and then break down, like a peak by breaking through resistance, staying above it briefly, and then breaking back down through the same price level, and then we might do it. It might be like a double top on the 23rd, 24th. I like the cusp of the 23rd, 24th. I like the. Well, see, this yellow correlation here on the 26th is a pretty sharp decline. There is a notable move to the upside around the 28th to a peak or crest there on the cusp of the 27th, 28th. But I think this is probably a better place to get out. What do we have here? This was what, the 15th? Oh, actually. See, this leads right over to the 16th, 17th. Oh, the high was on the 15th. So, pretty close. So, it's picking up on that. That being like a. That's probably. This might be the highest high actually for the month. We might be off on that. That might be the highest high for the month. We may see it again. We probably see it again or similar or close here on the 23rd, 24th, maybe on the 27th, 28th. But I would probably get out of a long position in SHIB before next month. Yeah, probably. I'd want to be in both. I'd want to be in a position in both directions on the 5th. I'd want to position myself in both directions, most likely around the 5th, 6th. Appreciate it, Conrad. If there's a bounce for Bitcoin, would it be coming evening or tomorrow overnight? Looks like towards the evening tomorrow for Bitcoin. Pretty notable move to the upside towards the evening session. To evening session tomorrow. July 28th call for shop. We did go through coin. I'd say just scroll back when we finish the session. Just scroll back because I forget what I said about it. Um, Best time to exit. So Carolyn, it looks like probably on Thursday right before expiration, but that's really risky. You know, if they're out of the money, you're really risking. Chances are it won't make it back to where it needs to be within that amount of time. And if it doesn't look like if it's not above expiration the day before, it's going to be like really kind of like price swinging if it's close. And then as far as AI, probably the 27th on the ADI ones as well. The ADI looks notably bullish. Maybe Monday's going to be a little tricky, but it looks pretty bullish the remainder of the week of next week. KRE's still ripping. Pretty soon. I mean, it's going to be kind of mixed back and forth through the same price level towards the end of the month, but the reversal is about mid-month, maybe a little bit into late month. And I'm getting a strong sense that we probably touched the 50-day moving average. Yeah, I get a sense that we're going to touch the 50-day moving average, which is roughly $50, and then probably reverse around that. Hold on a sec. Yeah, we reverse at that around that 200-day moving average. Will QQQ hit this year's highs before decline in September, October? Will QQQ hit this year's highs before a decline in September, October? I got a yes for that. It was the Emperor card. It's yes, take control. Well, RIVN's already gone through its 200-day. Yeah, I'm seeing decline for Riven. I'm seeing decline for Riven. I wouldn't chase the rally in Riven. Yeah, I think overall it's going to 40. We've talked about that, but I'm not sure if it declines beforehand. I think it probably declines beforehand, is my sense. I'm seeing decline before 40. Yeah. Sorry, Conrad. Will Lucid move up in August like Riven has in July? I got a no twice for that. All right, I'm gonna just run through with S&P real quick, and then I'm gonna roll my friends. All right, so here's that price swinging off of the low end of day. My sense is that we probably open higher or move higher in the pre-market and then decline to a lower point by the open or around the open. And if not, then we probably see a lower price level here midday. But I think we probably decline. It's like there's like a low here midday to maybe late morning session. I'd want to open up a short position in the midst of this decline. If you didn't close your short position, um, which was advised around here, not far from the bottom, if you didn't close your short position and you decided to hold it overnight, I would say like you're likely gonna want to hold your short position until midday. It gets really tricky midday, so like if there's a good opportunity in the morning in the midst of this decline, I'd say take it right there. But overall, like there's a rally at some point in the pre-market offering opportunity to open up a short position. You hold that short position till roughly midday, or possibly if you have the risk tolerance for like a bunch of like price swinging going on just after midday, I'd say maybe hold it until we revisit a support here, and that way you'll know where the low, where the exit is, because it'll be revisiting a support that we met recently before. Just make sure you do it before this big move around 3 o'clock to the upside. And that's the S&P 500 for tomorrow, guys. Let me know how it goes. Love to hear stories of people making money. We're not going to win them all, of course, so just make sure to trade responsibly. But with that said, guys, make sure to follow the rule of karma. You do so here on the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders, where we ask that you donate 5% of the profits forward to one of these charities. Real easy to do. Just click here anywhere on any one of these charities, and then 5% of the profits should be donated back to the channel to support the channel. We definitely need support, my friends. Like I said, we need about $2,000 more in monthly subscribers to really be at like a stable place for the business. So 5% back here, and then that leaves you at 90%, well above what you would get left over if you were utilizing a stock. I mean, you'd be paying a stockbroker whether or not you made money, to be clear. So, and that's legal. We don't do that here. I just expect a little bit back, when you do make profits. So make sure to do that and spend that money out of love. As long as you do that, guys, that's the rule of karma for the channel. The universe will send it back to you tenfold.